true. It does not have grave defects. By the middle of the 19th century, the development of biblical studies and the discovery of many manuscripts more ancient than those upon which the King James Version was based made it manifest that these defects are so many and so serious as to call for revision of the English translation. The task was undertaken by authority of the Church of England in 1870. The English Revised Version of the Bible was produced in 1881 through 1885, and the American Standard Version, its variant, embodied the preferences of the American scholars associated in this work, was published in 1901. You have to understand that they are saying that the Word of God was updated or revised or changed, and it had to be because of the grave defects were so obvious, right? And so serious, the revision had to be made in place. What they're saying is that they are not going to use the same texts. So we're going to go on and read this. We're just going to get it from the horse's mouth. Because of an unhappy experience with the authorized publications in the 2 decades between 1881 and 1901, which tampered with the text of the English Revised Version in supposed interest of American public, the American Standard Version was copyrighted to protect the text from unauthorized changes. What they're saying is the only reason they added the copyright was because people were just like changing the text, which could be true. I don't know. In 1928, its copyright was acquired by the International Council of Religion Education and thus passed into ownership of the churches of the United States and Canada, which were associated in this council through their boards of education and publication. The council appointed a committee of scholars to have charge of the text of the American Standard Version and to undertake inquiry as to whether further revision was necessary. For more than 2 years, the committee worked upon the problem and whether or not a revision should be undertaken, and if so, what should the nature and extent. In the end, the decision was reached that there is need for a thorough revision of the 1901, which will stay close to Tyndale King James tradition as it can in light of our present knowledge of Hebrew and Greek text and their meaning on the one hand and our present understanding of English on the other hand. They are saying that they have to go in and change because the understanding of the King James is wrong or so difficult that they need to make it easier. In 1937, the revision was authorized by a vote of the council, which directed the result version should be embodied for the best result, modern scholarship, as the meaning of the scriptures, and express this meaning in English diction. But what they're going on to say is that this revised version is the most important version. So, I believe it came out in 1952. And I'm not going to read the rest of it. I'm going to make you guys read it. And if you want to hear about this, feel free to comment. And I'm happy to read the rest of this garbage. But it's basically all just saying that we're going to keep the King James translation, except for every single place that we believe it's wrong. And then that's when you start to realize that every time you see the Greek Septuagint, like a GK, they take the Greek Septuagint reading over the Old Testament. These are all places where they will just happily pick and choose what they believe the right version is, or verse is. And if it's different, they don't care. And they will change it, and they will change it and change it. You say, okay, well, what's the deal, Eric? They did this in 1952, and this was going to fix all the grave problems. The problem is they keep coming out with translations and translations. So then you've got the 1977 New American Standard Bible. And you've got the 1995 New American Standard Bible. Then we come out to the ESV in 2001. I have a 2007 version. Then they have the 2016 version. I believe they actually have another one too. So I'm not sure. I think it's a 2001, a 7, and 11. I think I have the 7 here. But anyways, in 2016, we were going to have a permanent text because finally these same people, they're not obviously the same people, but it's the same council that was put together. And however, it's broken away, and now you have the Legacy Standard Bible, but they're basically all using a very similar text to either this or the New American Standard Bible, which is just a revision of the 1901 American Standard Version. You're starting to realize that the changes, okay, Eric, are they big? Are they not? What's the deal? I'm going to read the ESV Permanent Text Edition.